Hi, my name is Norman Horn, and I help lead the Libertarian Longhorns, a student group at the University of Texas at Austin. And I have with me here today Robert Butler and Patrick Dixon from the Libertarian Party of Texas. And so I would like for them first to introduce yourselves and to let us know what are you guys all about? What do you do?
Well, I'm Pat Dixon. I'm the state chairman of the Libertarian Party of Texas. I'm also serving my second term on city council in Lago Vista, Texas. Libertarians can get elected. For an income, I am an engineer. I have my own consulting business, and that keeps me very busy. But I'm also involved in several other nonprofit organizations, so I am very busy these days.
My name is Robert Butler, and I'm Executive Director of the Libertarian Party of Texas. Just recently started here. I previously worked as the Executive Director of the Libertarian Party in Ohio, and I have 16 years of political experience in both the Republican and Libertarian parties. I'm happy to be here and looking forward to working with Texas.
So what is exactly your position in the Libertarian Party? What do you do as the chair, and what do you do as the Executive Director?
Well, the chair is the person who's elected to essentially run the state committee. The state committee is the decision-making body of the state party. So
and that's by the party?
That's right.
Yeah.
The decisions made about where we would spend money or what sort of positions we may take on certain issues, the state committee makes those decisions, and the chair is the person who presides over that committee.
Robert?
Yes, the Executive Director basically is the day-to-day operations of the party. I'm there in the office answering phone calls, answering letters, making sure that our members are properly enrolled in our system, doing things like that that are day-to-day operations of the party.
Cool. Now, in the next election cycle, what do you guys envision as your top goal? So what do you think?
Well, really the goal's pretty lofty because the last two election cycles we've been putting a higher and higher number of libertarian candidates on the ballot in the state of Texas. And those candidates have been just better and better and getting better results. So the real goal is to continue that trend. And the bar's been set pretty high. And our previous executive director, Wes Benedict, he did a great job. So the goal is pretty high for Robert, and we'll see if he can meet it.
Yeah, well, the great benefit of starting to work in the Libertarian Party of Texas is that they already have this really great foundation that Patrick Dixon and Wes Benedict have built in the past. Now, my challenge is to take it to the next level, and that means more fundraising dollars. That means more programs to educate our candidates and get them working better in the field, campaigning better, as it were. And we also need to make sure that our leadership at all levels, the county chairs and our state executive committee, that they know how to campaign properly, how to fundraise, how to make telephone calls, how to go out there and knock on doors. Make sure that all of the activities that they do are the most productive that they can be.
That's great. Now, in terms of issues, economic issues, social issues, what are you guys trying to push in the next election cycle?
Well, I can tell you what we're trying to push right now is an article in Newsweek that just came out that says we're all socialists now. And the article makes the argument that the Democratic Party and the Republican Party have transformed the United States into a socialist nation. I don't know if most of the people watching this agree with that, but the point is, it seems we're a lot closer to that, and that's an opportunity for the Libertarian Party to reach out to people that don't like that message. We're the only solution.
Yeah, echoing what Pat said, I think that this article is really a great opportunity for us because finally a major media outlet, the Newsweek, is finally saying, look, this is what we have in the United States. We're getting closer and closer to socialism in a European model, and I think that that's not what Americans want. So that's the great opportunity for us. The publicity now is there. When we say that America is becoming more socialist, we're not the only ones, we're not the only voice in the wilderness saying that. The national news media is now beginning to say it. So that makes us more credible. So we need to be out there in the front. We need to be trumpeting this magazine article, and we need to educate people. They don't realize that their whole lives they've been raised in a culture of socialism. Movies that come from Hollywood, TV shows, They all promote those kinds of ideas about taking from the rich, giving to the poor, that the government will make everything happy. You know, programs like the West Wing, where the government works perfectly all the time. So we get bombarded by these messages. And so the Libertarian Party needs to reverse that trend and to provide an alternate voice.
So what do you guys view personally as what's the potential future of the liberty movement as it is now, and where does the LP play a role in that?
Well, I think we can go a number of different ways. Of course, we'd all like to wake up tomorrow and see that everybody in Congress and everybody in the governor's mansion and the state legislature is a libertarian. I don't expect that. I don't expect overnight success. I think a reasonable goal is, at the local level, we're getting more people elected to city councils, to school boards. I'm serving my second term, and issues like eminent domain abuse you can address right there at the local level before it ever gets to the Supreme Court. At the state level, we're able to put more and more candidates on the ballot, and they get higher and higher percentages. They may not win an office, but they can influence policy. On both sides, we can run candidates that appeal to those people that are concerned about social tolerance. We can also run candidates that look at this issue of the United States becoming more of a socialist nation. So the voters out there are going to have a choice from the Libertarian Party that reflects both the social tolerance and the economic free market concerns. And at the national level, it's a challenge. We get excluded from debates. McCain-Feingold rules make it very difficult. Getting on the ballot is very difficult. But I think it is important when we are able to say we have a candidate for President of the United States that's on the ballot in 48 states, that helps us promote our brand.
I think that the long-term future of the liberty movement is great, and the Libertarian Party's specific role is a political one. There are organizations like Cato that provide the policy research. There are organizations like Advocates for Self-Government that try to get the education out there in the schools. And so our role is to train and equip candidates to run for office and to influence legislation at the local, state, and federal level. And we've been successful in doing that. And even when we don't win an election, we're still able to work behind the scenes and influence legislation. And that is something that we really need to focus on. And we also need to continue this message that there is an alternative out there. Right now, many times we get calls from the news media specifically because Republicans and Democrats agree on so many issues that the only party they can turn to for an alternative viewpoint is the Libertarian Party. And I'll tell you that the smoking ban, for example, is one of the good ones there, where we were specifically asked by the news media if we were going to be there, and if not, where can they find us? Because they needed an interview to get an alternative point of view, and since the Republicans and Democrats agree on the smoking ban, they were hard up trying to find a dissenting view.
Yeah.
We'd like to thank you guys for watching, and we hope that you come back and visit us at libertarianlonghorns.com.